I did it rather well that time. I thought that'll do.
That was good timing.
Okay, thank you. Hello and welcome to HobbyKing.com. My name is Stuart and I'm here to give you a Mod Tech Monday on the newly released V2 Me-163. Now, one of the very cool features of the 163 is the dolly undercarriage system. Now here you see it in its V2 form where it just naturally falls away. And this video on this Mod Tech Monday is about how to fit the optional magnetic release system. Now, to install this optional magnetic release system, it's a very simple affair. But first of all, very quickly, I'm going to talk you through the mechanics of how this works. So, I will take the hatch off for now, and I will come to the part we want to focus on. Now, in the optional, in the box, what you get with the optional magnetic release system is this servo with this cylindrical horn and two magnets stuck in there. And then you get a second loose magnet that you will then glue into the top of your supplied dolly, the dolly that's supplied with the V2 model. So supplied is the servo with the magnetic cylinder and the loose magnets that you glue into the top of the dolly. Now this is how it works, very simply. If you see this magnet there, like so, and then that magnet rotates. You plug this into an aux channel on your radio, gear switch for example, and then when you flick the switch, that drum rotates and the gear is just simply pushed away. It's a very simple system and it's very effective. So that's how the system works. Now when you're on the ground, obviously you want it in this position, and then you want to adjust the endpoint of your two position switch on your radio to make sure that this, first of all in the closed position, holds that firmly, and then in the open position pushes that away freely. Now on the V2, it's of course not supplied with this, is optional because actually gravity alone is enough to work in most cases very, very well. But if you are flying off of bumpier grass, especially maybe in the winter, you will probably benefit from the optional magnetic release system. So to install this, it's very, very straightforward, and we'll get on to that now. Okay, so here we go with the installation. You want to hold the servo like this because the drum wants to be pointing towards the nose of the model and the rear of the servo towards the rear of the model. Make sure your lead is at the bottom. So this is just our contact glue. Link below to that. You just rub a little bit on one side. It only needs a little bit because it's quite a tight friction fit, and then rub a bit on the other side. So a little bit more there. Let that dry in the air for just a few seconds, and then as you follow me down, you want to put it in to the gap like so. What you want to ensure is that the back of this servo is flush with the foam here. So I'm going to keep pushing that down, and it should just flit in like that. Use your finger. And there. And that is now in place. Let that dry for a few minutes, and then whilst that's drying, you can of course plug in your servo into your aux channel and get that on and off position adjusted with your endpoints. So when it's on, it's holding the gear as tightly as it can. Then when it's off, it's releasing the gear, pushing it away. But what you need to make sure is that the servo is not straining when that happens. So I will let this dry, I will get this plugged in, and I'll set it up on my endpoints, and then we'll take it out and give you a demonstration of how the magnetic release system works in the real world. Alright, so we're back. I've got the servo installed. It's a little windier now. There is a turbine flying behind me, so I'm going to elevate my voice somewhat. But essentially, here it is in the up position. So the magnet is now sucking the dolly up, if you like. And then if I give a little bit of throttle, you've got to emulate what it's like when you're taking off, a little bit of bounce, and then you release the switch, and away it goes. There it is. So now we've got to put all this theory into practice out there on the strip, and we give you a demonstration of the optional magnetic release system for the V2 Me-163. Okay, so the model's out there. What I'm going to do now is take off, keep the gear up, and do a full circuit, and then drop the gear in front of me. That's probably the best practice for ensuring that the gear is exactly where you want it, which is as close to you as possible. And then I'll probably do a second attempt where I take off and try and immediately release the gear to emulate more of the full-size version, and of course how the V2 comes naturally with that gravity-fed system. So let's first of all take off, keep the gear up, and we'll take it from there. Alright, taking off. Okay, see, the gear's staying up. A little bit of a long roll out there, that was all intentional. Still on camera, looking good?
Looking great.
You see it looks a bit funny with the gear. Still stuck on, so I'm going to come
Do you notice it while flying?
Not really, although I haven't really flown the gear up. So now I'm going to drop it almost like a bomb system. Okay, here we go. There we go, gear goes away. You heard me flicking the switch. So that worked just fine and dandy. Now, as we're up here, we might as well give it a little bit of a pass. I did balance the prop, but the tape that I used to balance that prop has come off. I always recommend you balance the propeller. Alright, I'm sure the cameraman's already struggling, although we've got a nice bit of sunshine.
Not too bad.
Alright, I'll bring it to land. I've got a block of wolf in front of me, so I'll wait for him to pass. I'll bring it to land and then we'll try the takeoff with the gear releasing almost simultaneously as I rotate. It's coming into land. Look at that white really sticking out nicely. That's what I really like about the V2. It glides and glides and glides, of course, flaring. Lovely. Alright, I'll recover the gear, which I know is just there, because that's where I put it. And we'll try a more natural takeoff run. Okay, so there we go. We've got a nice radial engine revving up there, so you can ignore that. Make sure you clear out your chute. It can get a little bit of debris in there. Can I have the gear, please?
There you go.
So that's going to go back in there. Make sure I suck it up by putting the gear switch back on. There we go. That's now not going anywhere. We'll take it out again now and try and release that as I rotate. There's a little more to think about when you're doing it, but if you can pull it off, it's really worthwhile. So here we go with the takeoff, and simultaneously I'm going to try and flick the gear switch. Taking off. Ease on the power. Get it going. Apply more power. Ah, see, I was a little late on the switch because I was concentrating, but you get the idea. Now, of course, the gear is further out, but that doesn't matter. There we go. Oh yeah, really cooking. Do another pass this way. Come in front of that proper wharf. She is a rocket, look at that. Oh, I don't know if you can see that now, but anyway.
I think so.
It's hysterical. Alright, so there we go. That was the ModTech Monday for the now optional magnetic release system. Very easy to install, very easy to operate, and just gives you a little more versatility when you're flying on those bumpier surfaces, especially this time of year. So, check out a link to the product underneath this video description, where if you haven't brought a shiny new V2 Me-163, you can now, of course. The optional gear is now in stock, I believe. Sorry, the optional release system. And I'm going to land and sign off for this ModTech Monday. It's not a particularly long one because it doesn't need to be. It's a very, very simple and worthwhile modification. Woo! Did I mention that the full size was a glider to start with?
It glides for days.
It does glide for days. So there you go. Now my gear's out there somewhere. If you want to check out the optional release system, it is of course linked underneath this video. Again, worthwhile addition if you're flying off of bumpier ground or you just want a little more control over where your dolly drops. Thank you very much for watching. Please like and subscribe and look out for another video coming soon from us at HobbyKing.com. Thank you. Goodbye. Now where's my gear?